And in other news, buried in the Obama budget that was released earlier this week is a provision that would increase the federal tax on cigarettes in order to pay for early childhood education programs. The budget calls for a 94-cent a pack hike on federal cigarette taxes, which would raise roughly $78 billion over the next 10 years. Anti-smoking groups and education advocates are applauding the proposed tax hike, but many say that the increased cigarette tax will ultimately hurt middle and lower income Americans, the portion of the population that contributes to the majority of cigarette purchases. So, is a slight tax increase worth it if it has the potential to help save the lives of millions of Americans while helping to educate our future generations? Well, for more on this, let's bring in Austin Petersen, Director of Production at FreedomWorks. Austin, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
So I'm guessing you're against this for two reasons. One, there's a tax in it, and two, it's a federal program to help educate young people, preschoolers.
Right.
So, but here's my argument. This isn't just coming out of nowhere. This isn't just bureaucrats saying, oh, we want more power here. This is responding to a real problem in America, and this is wealth inequality and a lack of equal opportunity among people. We have higher income individuals who can afford to send their kids to preschool, and we have moderate and low income individuals who can't. So all at the start of their lives, you have two people who don't have the same opportunity to make it in America.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the problem is that if you really do want to do these things, then why would you want to tie that to a revenue stream that you're trying to kill? So the problem here is that if you want to fund these early childhood education programs with a tax, why are you doing with a tax that you say you want to have less of in the future? Because if the anti-smoking groups are working with the children's groups, well, the problem is that in the future, when people are smoking less, there will be less revenue for these children.
Not necessarily. I mean, I think the way the plan would work is that eventually you would raise this funding. You would go out and you would send more low and moderate income kids to preschool. And there's been studies that show for every dollar invested in a kid's preschool education, you're getting $11 in economic activity through their life. So whatever money we lose from less people smoking or revenue coming in, we're picking up that revenue by people having better jobs, people competing in the global economy better, paying higher revenue then into the government. Seems like it works.
Well, it doesn't really, because the thing is that it doesn't actually reduce people smoking. So the National Bureau of Economic Research found that cigarette taxes reduce consumption only minimally, and even if the tax was raised to 100%, it would, on each pack, it would only reduce adult smoking by 5%. So you actually aren't cutting back on smoking. So if you're just trying to get a revenue source for children, you will have one in the future because it's not going to stop people from smoking. But wait, hold on. What you are doing is, like you said, you are hurting those poor people who are paying 25% of their income to pay for these programs. And here's the thing, what if those people don't have any children? They're paying for someone else's child. So why are you forcing those people to pay for the cost of someone else? I think as a libertarian, if you have a tax, that the tax should be put on the burden of the people who are receiving the benefit from a program. So the people who send their children to those schools should have to pay the price of the cost of that schools, rather than put it on another group.
Moderate and low income people who already can't afford to send their kids to school should pay higher taxes to be able to send their kids to school.
No, poor people should have to pay to send other poor people's kid to school, right? That's what you're saying, is that you should force one group of people that we don't like and we can demonize. I
get what you're saying.
Right.
So let's unpackage some of the things you said. First off, about the price of cigarettes and the effect on people smoking. The CDC did a study of this. In fact, CDC Director Thom Hartmann said, increasing the price of tobacco is the single most effective way to discourage kids from smoking. He goes on and on. But this chart shows that there's a pretty inverse relation between cigarette smoking and how many people do. Well, the chart was just up a second ago.
No,
anyways,
I saw it.
you see as prices go up, the smoking goes down. And you see the same thing on youth.
Okay,
right. So there's numbers showing that. But also, if you're saying that this won't encourage people to stop smoking, then that kind of blows up the argument about the revenue stream.
All right, there's all of these different issues that you have to look at this with. And here's something else. Think about this. It creates a black market, too. So if you actually want to raise revenue, the problem here is that, think about this, 60% of cigarettes that were sold in New York in 2006 were smuggled in. And if you're trying to get more revenue, if you increase taxes, you're going to have a dead weight loss in this situation. So if you look at the rate of tax hikes, taxes have risen on cigarettes 190% since 2006. Yeah. But the rate of smuggling has increased 170%. So you're not really getting this tax benefit that you're trying to get.
Well, regardless, I mean, the numbers are out. You're going to raise this amount of money to send this amount of kids to school, which is going to have this amount of economic activity, and which will then go back to the economy to then send more kids to school. I think the key here is just equal opportunity here. We need to get all these kids, whether they're from moderate or low income people, to have equal opportunity. We're out of
Don't
time,
tax me,
Austin.
bro. Don't tax me, bro.
All right. We won't tax
Thanks
you.
a
We
lot,
won't send the
Sam.
big armed men after you
All
to
right,
pay your
all right.
taxes. Austin Petersen, thanks.